We're ready to start.
All right, let's go.
I thought we started.
Let's go.
Jeez, oh man.
Ready.
First Pgg podcast. Please introduce yourselves.
You want me to lead off,
Oh
Billy
my
Hope?
God, I'll go first. I'm Billy Hope, and I'm going to introduce Adam Bickle, the godfather of PGG.
So I am Adam Bickle with All-Pro Recruiting and then Pgg, which we started back in 19. Looking forward to year 5 here. Ready to roll.
Going into year 5. This is the beginning of year 5.
This is year 5, yep. 5-year anniversary coming up.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
I'm actually surprised by that myself.
It was a very slow rollout.
What was the
And then-
beginning?
Well, it was Mike and I, so I guess going back into history, Mike DiPaolo and I, when we were sitting in CSC offices in Beechwood, we're just thinking of ways that we want to get out and network with more people and start a business networking group. And we put that simultaneous with when we were starting APR too. And we just never made anything official. We started talking to a lot of people, just laying the groundwork for it. And then COVID happened. And that's when we had our first get together in the basement of a bar that only allowed X amount of people, like everybody had those stories and everything. So that was back in 2020 with our first networking event. Only 25 people were there. Felt like a nice little speakeasy. It was a good time.
So what did you guys start with? What was the initial idea? What were you guys doing?
So the initial
Events and like get-togethers and that kind of thing.
So we were thinking about it for a long time. So one, we belong to a couple other networking groups and give back groups and everything. Giving some love to the State Club.
You're already in that with APR.
Yes, we were already part of that. Well, with our old firm at the time, and then branching into APR. So Mike and I, Mike being a former football player at Case Western, me being a coach for 17 years at the time, we were like, all right, we're talking to a lot of business professionals that have a football brain, and they played ball, they coached, they officiated, they did something with football. So how can we bring people together? So, and at the same time, there's another great group out there of other sports, wrestlers in business, for example. And we're like, let's put together something local to us. We don't have to go, nationwide and do anything crazy. We don't have to try to be something more than we are. And we formed, just wanted to start off with basic networking, sitting down with a table and a beer, hanging out with some people just to get to know each other. And then, so the initial vision was let's have some get-togethers, some networking events, help each other in our brand. And organically, we're like, all right, we're going to find a way to give back to the game of football. And that's how we created the nonprofit.
What was the first event?
The first networking group.
Beer market, market garden.
No, the first one was
Something like
Southern
that?
Tier. We were in the basement of Southern Tier with a guest. Our guest speaker was Mike Gibbons.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I was at that. All right.
Yeah, that was the very first one.
That was
Sponsored
2019 or 2020?
2020 when we first got
Okay,
it going.
it doesn't feel that long ago.
That was the end of 2020. Yep.
I remember that.
So was the one after that at Market Garden then?
So it went, I don't know them all in order, but I know we were at Market Garden when Dave Keehan was our guest speaker. He was awesome. We were at
Collision Bend with
Jeff Cass. Yeah. So we just kept on, every 6 months we were trying to plan something in the spring, something in the fall.
So let's keep talking about that then. How do you talk the speakers? What are we looking for? What have you looked for? What are we looking for?
That's a good question. Hope, I want to kick it over to you too, because we just started naming some guys. We had Dave Keehan, who is the president owner of Advanced Polymer out in Avon. We had Jeff Cass, who at the time was president of Air Gas here. Both guys that have awesome football backgrounds. They played ball at a high level, coached ball at a high level, and with their business sense, we're like, all right, that's a perfect marriage of a speaker that we're looking to have. Mm-hmm. And along the way, the last 2 events, we had more household names like LaCharles Bentley, who grew up here in Cleveland, went to Ignatius, went to Ohio State, played how many years in the league?
A lot.
I want to say 8 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Williams guys, Coach Greg and Blake at the last event, which was a great draw, big name, household name.
For sure.
But we don't need it to be a celebrity status or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing we were talking about before we hit record, was that, we've had a lot of, I don't want to say regular guys, but not household names and then household names. And we don't want the bar to be Greg Williams, because that's not going to be sustainable. We want to make sure
I'm
we
not
bring it
talking
back.
after Greg Williams. I know that.
Yeah, it's hard. You think that's hard to
I'm bringing
follow.
nothing to the table after him.
But we want to make sure that we maintain a foundation in the original idea of bringing together the guys that you kind of started off with.
I think when it initially started, it was the idea of, even growing up playing football, half of them are teachers, half of them you don't know what the hell the coaches do, right?
Yeah.
And that's who we were looking at with this. The coaches who aren't teachers, who are actually professional, and then everybody has the football background. And in the middle of those ones, you said the one at Oak and Embers, something like that, with Coach O and Leslie Graff, who was the CFO at the Hall of Fame at the time. Like, that was incredible because they have terrific business background tied to football. And Coach O, I remember specifically wanting to run through a wall after he got done speaking. And I think those are the type of people, to your point, that we could really benefit from, is hearing the story, hearing the motivation, hearing, there's so many parallels between business and football, right? That's why we kind of got to where we are. And hearing the way Coach O molded that, that's one I remember for sure. So I want those type of people speaking at the ones this year.
And I tell you, that's what we're looking for in the podcast moving forward, is those kind of parallels between business and football, and how football has helped shape the model that people use on the management level, on the leadership level, in day-to-day business. That's the thing that excites me the most about just everyday conversations, but especially what we're looking for in the podcast.
Yeah, and each speaker, even when we had LaCharles and when we had Coach Williams, they still brought a lot of their stories that would still shape, who you would be as a business leader and a business professional. Sure. Obviously, Blake brought that, quite a bit. I think the combined speaker of that one, Leslie being a professional with the Hall of Fame, having those ties, and Coach O just being, rambunctious,
Fired.
Where's he from? I wasn't at that one.
Yeah. Coach O at the time,
from heaven, if you're a football player.
At the time, Coach O was the head coach at Oberlin. He just took the job.
Okay.
He spent 1 year there, but he coached a bunch of years at BW.
All right.
And he's originally from Wisconsin. A great guy. I mean, we can get him on the podcast, get him on the phone right
cool.
this second if he, if we want to get a ring in. He's awesome. Super high energy. And he's somebody that just left the coaching world to get into business. He's selling with Stryker, which is medical device
sales.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is cool because he has a lot of those stories and a lot of his characteristics that made him a successful coach. He's going to take with him to the sales world, which is awesome.
I think each person we've had brings their own thing, right? Aside from Coach Williams and then Coach O, they got us fired up. Other people, Matt Hogue, when we were at Golf Club, West Bank Golf Club, which we will be at soon, foreshadowing. He was great just because it was more about his journey. He played in NFL Europe, whatever it was called back then. Everybody has their own journey, and that's kind of what was cool about every speaker so far, is that you can pull something from each one. So it doesn't really matter who the speaker is going to be. I can assure you we're going to be getting good tidbits from it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, even, I think there's been multiple members that are like, hey, you know what? I could be a speaker. I don't see why, why can't I tell my story? That type of thing. And even, hell, the three of us sitting around, we all have, great stories as far as what we've done with football. But hearing it from somebody that has accomplished certain things, it's just cool because you can correlate that into your everyday life and everything. So, I don't think that it matters exactly who the speaker is because they're going to bring something awesome to the table.
So that's a little bit of the past. Do you have anything lined up already for 2024?
A lot of people in the works right now. Again, some of those household names.
Because right now, as we record, it's February 6th.
Yeah.
So what are we looking for? We're trying to get quarterly?
So, not quarterly. We're doing a spring and a fall networking event always. Those are going to be the two of the main things, plus the golf outing. Where we want speakers at are those main networking events, but we're also going to have huddles, so more smaller, private.
Is that new?
I hate to call it private.
That
Huddles
is
are newer,
Ish.
yeah. We only did a couple
like
in the
that.
past,
I like
where,
that.
just throw it out there real loosely, even a couple weeks in advance, saying,
Like
hey,
a happy hour.
yeah, 12 of us are going to sit around a table, have some professional branding, get to know each other a little bit closer.
Ooh, I like that idea.
Yeah.
That's news to
Yeah.
me.
Oh, well, you weren't invited last time.
Secrets out. No, and so being in the professional world from, coming from a bank, having, my own little thing now, networking things suck. They've always sucked. Nobody wants to go to them. They're
Awkward.
That's and that's what we don't want. And you can talk to anybody who's come to any of these. Nobody feels that way. A, you get in what you put in, right? Or you get out what you put in. But then B, you're not there giving elevator speeches. You're going to have a good time, meet people. If stuff comes out of it, great. If not, no big deal, because you're still getting out of it, stories about football and this common bond that all of us have. And I think that's, to me, the biggest takeaway when I'm, talking to people in my personal network about why they should show up is exactly that. It's just laid back. You get to meet people, and if you want to email that person after, great. If not, that's fine too.
Yeah, nothing forced. When we first started this, part of our, not our mission, but our goal was nothing forced. Nobody has to pay a crazy amount of dollars to be involved or anything like that.
There's no hard sell.
No hard sell on even coming. But if you come, chances are you are going to walk away with, some good contacts, some good stories, some good memories, whatever the case may be. But yes, I think only one event did we actually have the go around the room, everyone, say who you are and what you do. Yeah, you just don't want to be forced into those things.
That one kind of happened organically, for what it's worth, too.
Yeah.
That was when Matt Hogue was the speaker, and that was his way of getting everybody involved, and nobody had a problem with it.
I'll tell you, it's not a bad idea to think about, even kind of an open mic. Hey, we got 10 minutes open mic if you want to get up there and introduce yourself to the group. During the happy hour version of things, if someone wants to do it, something to think about.
Yeah. And that's, me personally, I'm not
Totally volunteer.
Yeah, exactly. Again, because I don't like being forced into doing things. I don't like
no
being, I don't like being told what to do. But the aspect, when you go to a networking thing, you know what you're getting into. You're going to shake some hands and meet some people. Be ready to pitch your story and whatnot. But I like when it happens organically, more so than forced.
So this podcast has kind of started backwards, because what the
Pgg
well, no, but what it started was a networking group, but what it's turned into is way more about what we're giving back to the community, and the whole idea behind the events and behind the golf outing and raffle things that we'll do is to give back. And I think that's the thing that happened this year, where you could tangibly see a lot was given back to the community. And me personally being involved in that was cool to see us going to the coaches, giving the money. Riddell, which you can, Adam, talk more about how they're helping us, but seeing how the community can rally around youth football has been very, very cool to me. And that's kind of where the PGG has shifted to, is now all of a sudden it's more focused on what we're giving back to the community, and we network on the side while we're doing that.
Yeah, so that's something, again, when we first started, we were thinking networking and forming a group and everything. So like you mentioned, organically, it coming about to give the money back to whatever, getting sponsorship from corporate, that was our number one. We want corporate donations, Riddell being one of the top-notch ones that has provided year over year for us since we began. So, yes, and then giving back to the right causes. So something that we are going to get better at and need to get better at is requests for donation from certain, certain organizations and everything. Yes, after I guess you distracted me.
Well, he fucking put his hand. So we'll pause right here. Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. Overthinking. We're all overthinking. Cheers.
All right.
Cheers.
That's the part we need to talk about. When do we even get to talk about football? That's the whole reason. Are we
live?
live?
Let's get to that.
He's the host.
Let's get back where we were. We just had a break. So we're talking about the actual, what we do, giving back to the community. Break that down a little bit. What are we doing? Yeah, we're on.
I don't know.
We're on. Where money is being raised. We'll get to how we're raising the money, but where's the money going?
So people do want to know where the money's going, and that's a little bit more on us to expose and tell everyone what we're paying. And I try to stay very active on socials as far as who we're awarding the funds to and everything. So
Everybody pause this podcast and follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, every single thing there is.
YouTube.
Go ahead. YouTube.
And so each year we, especially during the summertime, that's the
What the?
that's our best.
Someone's being attacked in the firehouse kitchen. And
Also, go to the firehouse in Willoughby Hills.
So as far as where the money goes, we in the summertime is when we ask for youth programs to request their funding. We have $5,000 to $10,000 to give away in grants and just in-kind donations. The majority of the schools that have asked and requested have been from Cuyahoga County, but this 2 weeks ago we spoke at the Lake County Clinic and we got 3 requests for proposal from them, which is awesome.
So talking cash donations.
This is just
for the programs to use as they like.
I hate to use the word free at these things, but it's literally free money.
What do you mean free? Oh, okay.
It's free money to a program that is in need of money. You just have to ask us for it. And we have to, make a board decision on who deserves it due to X, Y, Z. So who we've given the money out to has been a lot of youth programs that just need equipment. Some have used it and they were, legit. It's for marketing purposes and getting more kids involved and making sure they get gear and stuff like that. Some did use it for travel expenses when they were going out of state for games. And then additionally, we have scholarship monies that we give out, and we're a partnership with GCFCA, but Billy Hope has volunteered to lead our scholarship effort through PGG coming up. So we can let him talk about
Pause.
that.
How do team programs apply for finances?
On the site.
On the site.
Under construction on the site. Normally they'd send an email with a request for funds. It's a legit process.
So currently, who do they email?
Adam Bickle
At
adambickle.com.
No. Adam at allprorecruit.com is how the schools request the funds.
just send a little note over.
Yeah, but they can still do so through the website because you can email us through the website, which is super simple. You can
Website is
professionalgridirongroup.com.
okay.
Simply, you can become a member, become a sponsor, just send an inquiry about who we are, what we're doing, and also your actual donation request on letterhead, school letterhead. It can't be a private organization. That's the majority of our funds have gone to youth football, but we also had some extracurricular. There was a member, part of our PGG community that lost somebody and they requested some funds for funeral costs. And we're like, you know what, board, let's do something solid for this individual as well because we have a couple bucks from our sponsorship dollars. Let's give it away.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yes, I will always say it's for Northeast Ohio youth football, but there's some other one-offs that people need money.
I mean, I coach. I know levies are failing. Schools are, money's tight. How important really is these teams, these programs, the youth community teams, getting the money?
Youth, I think it's incredibly
It
important.
really is.
Like getting to go deliver the check to Red Dogs, they changed their name in the meantime.
At the time, Red Dog, Coach
But
Jackson.
being able to see the difference it makes, to these young kids. I mean, what were they, second, third grade? I mean, insanely athletic little dudes. And, imagine if your love for football had to stop because, the coaches couldn't provide you with the helmet, for Christ's sake, right? Football requires more things. It's not like you can just grab a soccer ball and go out and kick it against the wall, right? You need certain things. And I think that was my biggest takeaway, kind of leaving that thing when we went to deliver that check, feeling kind of proud that we made a difference to them. I thought that was pretty cool. And I think that more people see that, they're going to want to be more involved. Because we all, there's a reason football took over Sundays, right? What's the saying about, God lost Sundays to football? Something like that. It's the best sport in the world, and we all have that tie. And imagine, not being able to play because he didn't have shoulder pads, for Christ's sake.
We wouldn't be here.
That's my point.
True. And there were some schools that were in the news the last 2 years, because of a shortage in not just funding, but equipment, supplies, and things like that. Riddell, I know, stepped up and helped out believe it was Collinwood at the time, but they couldn't field a team because of lack of equipment.
Man.
So knowing that we can help those types of programs is awesome. I mean,
100%.
You never want to turn away a kid from playing ball, and if that's your reason, that's a failure.
That's
on
crazy.
Us, so we can help that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is to me that's the passion. Like, we want to use all these tools to raise as much money as possible. And like, I'm new to the team. I'm new to the PGG team. I'm looking forward to seeing that check.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop you there because I feel like your intros were only.
Yeah,
I think I'm the only.
got to introduce
I think
Jason
I might have
Bickle.
been the only one that introduced myself, maybe. So
Billy Hope didn't introduce himself?
I don't. You guys should probably tell everyone who's on the mic.
If you were at Golf Outing 1, you know who Billy Hope is, unfortunately.
What'd you do? Oh, Mike.
It was like a day before my twins were born, and
Oh,
Daddy indulged a little bit, but we've scaled it back since then. No, I'm a financial advisor, an independent financial advisor in Solon, Ohio. Done plenty of networking things, and when Adam approached me about being on the board, I was on the board of another nonprofit for a second. This one spoke to me more, because of the networking, and like I said earlier, it just turned into this more so of a juggernaut to be able to give money. I was blown away with how easy it was for us to make money for these youth programs through the Golf Outing. And then, being on the back end of it and seeing the difference it makes. So that's how I got involved. I am a big fan of the fundraising part of it, and I think that is primary to why I'm doing this. But yeah, my day-to-day life, I'm a financial advisor. What about you?
Adam's brother, Jason. Plant
All right, so
supervisor. In manufacturing, and I work with All Pro Recruiting.
Oh, yeah, that's new.
And I own the microphones.
Which
We
I wish
need
we could
video.
Let's talk
describe the
about that.
setting because this is a beautiful setting.
Do you want to talk about another reason to go follow us on Twitter. We're going to take a picture of this setup. It is a beautiful thing.
But-
love having him on board, by the way, because it's fun getting fresh eyes in something like this, right? You said this was 5 years in the making. I'm kind of shocked that you've been doing this for 5 years. I've been involved for 3. I feel like that has been the quickest 3 years. But getting new life behind this, new passion to grow it, to have more people become members,
I'm all about the marketing.
Yeah.
That my aim is to get more eyes on the logo and to see all the action that's going on, to get as many people involved as possible. Because thinking of my life, without having all of the coaches I've had from childhood all throughout, like, that's been everything. And without football, it's my database of everything inside of me is a lot slimmer. So I know how important football is for young guys. So that is my mission, to get as many eyes on this as possible, to raise as much money as possible.
Yeah.
And that's where, I think you'll see even at these groups and everyone we talk to, and even one-on-ones that we've had, football has been such a catalyst and a pathway for people to be who they are, what they do, what they accomplish. It's it's a part of, it's ingrained in you.
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously having you on board is instrumental in doing a lot of that. Speak to your coaching experience, because give everyone a little bit more of a bio as far as what you've done as a coach and all the success you have there. I just turned.
I'm pretty good. I've been coaching. I'm coaching. Around, I think this might be year 20, about 20 years since 2002, but I think it maybe skipped a couple years. Mostly as a defensive coordinator. Northeast Ohio, a handful of teams, playoffs.
Multiple playoffs.
Set probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to
Been
talk
around a little bit. Yeah, so I mean, my experience, I like what I've done. I'm very proud of the guys I've coached, and that's kind of part of it, man. Thinking back, like, who I was as a young guy to who I am as a coach, and seeing other young guys come through, and now they're 25, 30 years old, and the things they're doing, it's like, I see the circle. Guys reach out to me still to this day that, with just conversations of who they are as adults, and like, between my relationship with my high school coach to my relationship with players that have kids, like, it's an amazing chain of connections.
Isn't that incredible what the proper coach can do in your life? I feel like we have to take a second to talk about You know, the
Here we
fact
go.
that we all have the same coach here, for the record.
Cheers.
Yeah, but you know, even that. Here comes the somber thing, but you know, we just have a buddy die, right? And who shows up, and who's the last person at our buddy's funeral except you know our high school football coach, 2 of them, and you know, to me that shit's incredible because it was 20 years ago, 20 whatever the fuck years ago. I mean, I can't stress enough about how the camaraderie of football is something that sticks with you forever. And so I think I know how it affected me. I love how it affected me. I only got to coach a couple years with the greatest middle school coach of all time, Adam Bickle. But I think
4-2.
Yeah. Nah, did we really lose 2 games?
We lost to Perry.
Oh,
God. 4-2-1. We tied this idiot.
Oh, God. Anyway, I think that you know, the coolest thing to me is because there's a football in the logo, right? You see the Pgg shield, and everybody knows it's a football organization. So those stories come up, and hearing other people's stories about how football affected them is so cool to me. And then being in the business world, you know, about dealing with adversity, and you know, we all think of Greg Knackley because we all had him as a coach, and the guy's absolutely incredible. I mean, he probably taught me more about how to deal with adversity than anybody I know, you know?
100%.
And that's wild to me that technically he was my coach for 1 year. And I put coach in quotes because at that point I was a sophomore and barely touched field. Like, the right coach can do so much. And then, you know, just to see now being a grown-ish man with, you know, 3 kids and like, I mean, shit, the stuff I'm thinking about teaching my kids, I'm in my head hearing my football coaches. You know, that stuff is why football is the greatest. And that's why going to PGG events is cool, because you hear the same type of football did this for me type stories from people. And that's awesome.
Yeah, and I bet it's just the 3 of us, and we all have, you know, I guess intimacy around some of the coaches that we've had because we all have similar ones. I bet every single person that has checked out PGG, I bet every person that's played the game has some of that story to them. I shouldn't say every, but when you have a great coach, there's so many guys that are like, he's what helped get me here. Even when we were at West Bank and Coach Narducci was there.
Just about to say with Gabe.
What a small-ass
in.
world. You know, Gabe had an experience with him at Hudson and everything. And it's like, those are the guys that are in your head, not just motivating you daily, but I don't know, you just don't want to let down. So I don't know how to say it. I guess I'm saying it the same way, but you don't want to disappoint. You want to make them proud and everything. And I still see Coach Hall out at Riverside and everything all the time. He's the principal out there. And it's like, damn, you're in my view right now, like physically. But like when you're not there, like I'm still thinking like, damn, I better, you know.
When I see Knack on the caller ID on my phone, like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Gotta
I better
tell the wife,
what I
hold
do.
on, wait, I got to go take this. No, the 2024, I played for Knackley in, 99? I still, every Labor Day, in my head, say, I'm going to labor on Labor Day because he would make us practice. Just, I don't know, man. Football's the best.
And these are personal stories, but this is the depth of why we do what we do.
Yeah.
To make sure other kids have these same stories in 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine
really
if we
is it.
couldn't have these stories because Wycliffe at the time didn't have enough money to, I mean, shit, the year we graduated, Wycliffe didn't have money for buses, and they had to get the precious cargo buses to take them to Willoughby South, 10 minutes away, you know. And they've raised funds for it, thankfully, at the time. But imagine if you couldn't have played football. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
So let's keep giving money back, which brings us to the next thing. I don't
Golf
have
outing.
a cheat sheet, kind of golf outing, but members. We need to boost membership. If you're listening to this, hit the pause button, go sign up. It's $50, and tell us what we get for $50, because there is some stuff that's changing this year where, we do want to give the money back, but we are a networking organization also. What is this $50 going to get you?
So I did just send out an email today with member benefits, and I think I simplify it too much, but essentially $50 for a year, that's nothing to any networking group, to anything that you do. So, obviously we're looking at volume when it comes to that. We want as many members to come to our events and hang out. Your $50, one, just from a networking aspect, it's free food and drink for you throughout the year when you come to our events. So that's awesome. So it's a
Pays
pretty
for itself.
it's a pretty nice investment when it's an open tab and open food and everything. So $50, you know, that helps, you know, a lot of the operational costs behind the scenes and stuff like that. But your membership gets you your branding on the website, which is going to be enhanced bios and everything. More member spotlights are happening with YouTube. More podcasts are happening with YouTube, so that you guys can help market individuals that are involved in this as well. What else? Obviously, all proceeds go to youth football. We already covered that.
And then
What am I
certain
missing?
events will have, you know, the discount. Obviously, when Coach Williams, you know, he was bringing in a lot of names. So if you were a member, that was free. If you weren't a member, you were paying to get in there. We're not asking a lot, is my point, right? You get in or you take out what you put in. Why can't I ever say that right? Like $50 is nothing to make a difference in your community, to bring money back to these youth organizations and to bolster this community, right? Right now there's 50, 60 members, something like that. And there's no reason that can't keep going up tenfold. That's why it's important, right? Membership. You need numbers, right? So if we're trying to give back to the community, whether it be career day, right? Something you did at Lutheran East that still I think was awesome when you were coaching there was have your career day, right? So many kids have no clue what they're going to do when they get out of school. Hell, how many times did I change my major, right? I'm sure you guys did the same. Having a proper career day, how are you going to do that? Well, you need more professionals to be a part of your community, and you need more people to buy in, right? We talk about neighboring or, other organizations we're a part of. We see what they do with, again, the state club doing Operation Hope Farm and all these things, but you need members to do that. Mm-hmm. All of us are comfortable giving money back. All of us, don't mind throwing money in a hat, but giving our time can be just as beneficial, whether it be career day, whether it be, volunteering for something else on other events we're going to do. That's why membership is so important, is then it's easy to get 10 people to show up for an Empower flag football game, that type of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean that's a little twofold too. Is one, sitting as a head coach in the past, I always wanted guest speakers from the outside world to come and teach us something, because we don't know their story necessarily. So, the speakers that we still thrive from and love to hear at our events, kids can totally, learn something from these folks too. So, like at Lutheran East, for example, we would bring in guest speakers that have been there, done that, whether as a player or a professional. So, to our mass audience and everything, coaches, if you are interested in having some of our stories to be told to your kids and teach your kids along the way, I mean, hell, there's many of us that would love to stop into a weight room session and just give you some life skills and life advice along the way. And that's something that we're proactively trying to do. But coaches, I encourage that. I think that's a really, really cool thing to bring to your program.
Yeah.
And if it's a weight room session, Jay Bickle,
I'm ready. Let's
throw
go.
plates on the bench.
Let's go.
I mean, again, we don't have video here, but guys, if you saw this tight T-shirt that this guy's wearing right now,
It looks good.
he shops at Baby Gap.
I thought it was paint when I got here. I thought he painted it on. I thought he just painted a orange N on his chest for the North Rangers. Mm-hmm. Congrats on making the playoffs this year, didn't you?
No.
Oh, was that last year? Ever?
I wasn't there last year.
We're gonna have to dump
What are we
that.
doing?
We're gonna have to dump that audio. All right, what's next about PGG? Why else do people want to be involved? Host.
Well, what's going on this year? What do we have coming up? We talked about events, networking events. Golf outing is the Super Bowl of the year. It's the big moneymaker, right?
That's the biggest fundraiser for us, for sure. Billy Hope is
My
the leader
favorite day.
of that. It is a great day.
When is it?
June 24th, I believe.
Yes.
I'm going to.
Now sponsors, can they start signing up?
Yes.
Yeah, oh my God.
And what do they get with their sponsorship?
So there's a lot of people coming to this golf outing, right? And we've all done plenty of golf outings, and we're trying to make it the most fun golf outing that it can be. with different unique type things. Last year we had the couple $10,000 holes on par threes. We had what was the putt? It's like a 60-foot putt to win a.
Yep, to win $10,000 or $1,000, $1,000.
I forget, but it was literally just a 60-foot putt, which that dude, by the way, missed it by like inches.
Yeah.
But the sponsors are going to get what you normally get at a golf outing, right? Your name's going to be plastered all over everything. What we're going to do early this year, though, is the word's going to be out there more. The social media following is, obviously growing tenfold with you being involved. There's going to be a lot more eyes on it. And then, your other normal, what do you get when you sponsor a golf outing? You're going to get your free foursome. The course is magnificent. It's in the middle of nowhere. I apologize for anyone who lives in LaGrange, Ohio, that I just called your hometown in the middle of nowhere, but it's one of the nicest courses that I've seen. And the restaurant there is great. The entire day, it's just a really, really fun day, and it's a great group of people. And again, last year we raised $6 or $8,000, something like that.
6 and some change.
Just from one
Just off that
event,
day.
right? And that's huge. So, and you have all these opportunities to win your own thing. Work on your 155-yard shot. You could win $10,000 on 2 holes.
How much are sponsorships?
So they vary, right? You can be the title sponsor for around $2,500. Hole sponsors are anywhere from $300 to $500, and a lot of it's going to be tied into the cost of your foursome, right? So take a look at the website. That's going to be updated soon. We're working with the course to finalize prices. They're incredible. Mark Schuckman, who's been great to us, David Keehan, right, from Advanced Polymer. They make it very, very affordable to make this an affordable golf outing. We've done plenty where you're spending $200, $250 just to show up. And then you're going to go there and pay for the 50/50 and pay for all these other things. The other thing that the guy to my right, it's not a video podcast, but what he does that's incredible is the donations that we get, right? You can win some incredible things just in door prizes, right? Signature Browns helmet. Foursomes everywhere. What else do you get? Is there, and I need you to be honest, is there anybody better at getting donations from places than you?
Well, I'm not afraid of the word no. I just ask around and, whatever.
It really is. No, it's wild what we, even just the door prizes, right? So you show up, it's, I think $150. We'd have to look. I know that a foursome, you get a discount, but right away you're almost winning.
Affordable.
Yeah.
I think
wildly affordable.
Yeah, why Mark and Dave helped out so much on keeping it
makes
affordable.
It easy, yeah.
But it goes hand in hand with anything that we're trying to do. We're trying to keep things at a nice cost, a pleasant cost, so that people, you're not put out on going to a networking event because the cost. Like, that's just not fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, keeping prices at a nice rate, knowing that again, proceeds are going back to the good cause. So
proceeds are going back to a good thing. The course is amazing. The companies, the food's incredible.
Yeah.
And the internal games at the course, right? The 60-foot putt to win a bunch of money. The course puts up, I think on like 17 or 18, one of the later holes, they put a random golf bag in the middle of the fairway. Closest to it wins the golf bag. Right? You don't have to hit the longest drive. You don't have to be the best golfer. But if you can put it nearest to a 240-yard golf bag in the middle of the fairway, that's yours, right? There's so many cool things that I think – I've done enough golf outings where the ones that I leave and I don't like, we cut that out of this stuff. This golf outing's fun, and I encourage everybody to come. It will for sure fill up. We filled up way quicker than I thought last year.
Yeah.
We're trying to cap it at about 25 foursomes, maybe 30. Nobody likes the one that takes 6-7 hours. This one will not. It'll be an nice easy round for you.
And just talking again to the prices, not to go back to any type of plug or anything, but our sponsorship for the year is very reasonable. And I definitely want to shout out the sponsors from last year, but a reasonable price of our sponsorship for a year. Not only does it get you all of the marketing aspect, but again, when you come to the networking events, you bring in your whole crew and give a little speech about who you guys are and what you're all about. And that's something at West Bank Golf Club, when we held it there, who is one of our top-notch sponsors as well. Riddell was our sponsor that night, and Drew Dixon and Chris Dudley were able to speak to Riddell and all the great things that they do for football. So yeah, very reasonable. And that, again, check it out on the website. Real quick, listing last year's main sponsors, title sponsors were Riddell, Empower Sports, West Bank Golf Club, Garfield 12323, which you're going to sing that jingle after listening to that. But Herb Schoen of Home Corporation came through as a sponsor at the last event with Greg and Blake Williams, which was awesome to have a local company like that.
Very good.
There's a sponsor on there you forgot. All Pro Recruiting.
You already heard about that.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's exactly it, right? I mean, even like my firm, we throw money because we know that it's going back to youth programs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's easy to spend money on the corporate card when you know that it's going to a good cause.
Look at our cords tangled.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. Quickly,
Hey, we're brothers.
Quickly before we summarize and get out of here.
Oh, yeah,
Super Bowl week. Hope, who you got?
The Chiefs. In fact, I hope everybody has an hour and a half to talk about this. Just kidding. The fact that they're underdogs is wild to me for two reasons. One, when you're always there, you just tend to not care a little bit on the mundane things, a.k.a. the regular season. Everybody talks about the Chiefs being down. They're not down. They just have to deal with the regular season to get to where they belong in the playoffs. This year, now we got to go on the road. Obviously, they don't give a shit. They plow through two of the best teams on the road. The fact that they're getting points is wild to me. I'm a Brock Purdy believer. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm not saying the Niners aren't talented. I love Kyle Shanahan. I'm blown away that they're the underdogs. I think the Chiefs win kind of easy.
Oof.
10-ish points.
Really?
Yeah, I truly think that they're made for this. And, Taylor Swift. God, I'm just kidding.
That's some.
No, I'm kidding.
analysis.
They really are. They're made for this. Patrick Mahomes does. They show up, man. I mean, honest God, look what Kelsey did the last two games. He sucked all year, right? That's what people say. Owning the game. That's Chiefs by 10.
Chiefs.
Well,
by
let's
10.
rewind, though, because you said blew through a couple teams. Baltimore sucked.
But why did they suck?
Terrible play. Terrible game plan.
Think? Or is
Lamar?
Steve Spagnuolo good at getting to?
Did the Ravens play to their strong suit?
You're asking the wrong person. I've forever thought Lamar's kind of a fraud. He's an unbelievable athlete. He can drop dimes at certain points. But there's a reason that they beat all the good teams by 20 or 30, and that's because when they get on top, then they just pile on, right? They're unbelievable at playing with the lead. They couldn't do that against the Chiefs, and then they got exposed, and Lamar was pressured. They blitzed. I don't work for ESPN, but they blitzed an insane amount of times.
Over 50%.
Yeah, and I think that made a difference, but they had the ability to blitz because they were playing comfortable, playing with the lead.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that the Ravens didn't underperform, but it's easy to say that they underperformed because of how easy they ran through the regular season. But again, back to the point of, regular season, right?
Okay.
Maybe the Ravens cared a little bit more in the regular season. Chiefs could care less. They've been here, 4 out of the last 5 times. They're doing whatever they need to get to the playoffs to then actually turn it on.
Makes sense. What's your take?
I don't have a great one other than personally, I have stake in the Chiefs right now because of a fantasy postseason that I'm involved in, that if Mahomes lights it up, along with, who else do I have? As long as he doesn't throw the ball to Kelsey, I'm in great shape, and I can win a couple bucks.
Well, he's going to throw to Kelsey. So
hopefully he picks somebody else. So I am taking the Chiefs from a pure fanhood perspective. I need them to win, but also I like the underdog thought of being a 2.5-point dog, even though I don't. I think it should be an even game, really.
I do agree with that.
I don't.
Vegas knows.
They do. I'm being just fanboy. I just want to see a good game.
For sure.
I just hope both teams have fun.
Right. It sounds like such a lame answer. I definitely am not going to do X's and O's talking about these teams I don't watch that much. But from a betting standpoint, I feel like Pat Mahomes is the guy you don't bet against yet. He's almost like the new Brady. You just don't bet against until you have to. And I'm not betting against him.
This win puts Mahomes in a special category.
Yes.
Oh my God, he's already in a special category with the fact that he's been here
Top
so
5.
many times. Yeah.
This puts him at number
impressive.
2. A win puts him at number 2.
That's one of those like talk when the career's over type thing. It's cool to see in real time though, because he gets the giant contract, right? And you would think, oh, there's going to be some fall off, and there's not. I mean, the dude just performs. I have to feel like you're a Niners fan, right? You're taking the Niners, Jay?
I hate that I feel like a hater. I can't root for the Chiefs.
Yeah. No, I agree.
They
Why
annoy
can't you root
the
for them?
shit out of me.
Why do you hate the Chiefs?
I don't hate the Chiefs.
Well,
I guess I kind of already said I feel like a hater. Just their hype. I don't like their little shtick. I like Brock Purdy. I like the personalities. I like the Niners, the way they go about things over the Chiefs. The Chiefs right now, they're feeling like too rock and roll to me, and I don't like it. To me, that's not. Mm-hmm. I get it. That's what it's marketing. It's what the NFL is doing, but and they ball out. Kelsey's a beast. These are beasts, but I can't. I have trouble getting on that bandwagon. I kind of lean the other way.
Don't you think there's a lot of similarities, though? I mean,
sure.
They both have. I mean, Kelsey and Kittle's,
yeah.
If you cut his hair and just put the same uniform, they are the same person. They play. I mean, Pacheco runs. He's my favorite runner in the league. He just looks like an angry person. He looks like a Debo when he runs. Like, there's a lot of similarities between the teams.
And I don't like dynasties going on runs. I like change-ups.
Get out of here.
Why?
You're not. I don't know, because I grew up with your brother and he's the biggest Laker dynasty fan.
That's different. That was
Dude,
Shaq.
you appreciate greatness. We all appreciate
So
greatness.
I appreciate Brady's dynasty.
But in the NFL, I appreciate more competition. I appreciate more balance. I want to see a change of guard.
I don't think that everybody on earth wasn't rooting for the Lions last week.
Oh, 100%.
And everybody wanted when it was the top 4 teams at the end, everybody wanted the Lions in. Yeah. I believe that.
Yeah. But the Chiefs dynasty, they've lost multiple times. They've gotten to the championship 6 years in a row?
No. Oh, the AFC championship.
Yeah, right. But they haven't. They've only got. I mean, I say only, but they got 2 Super Bowl wins out of that.
So far,
Brady beat him.
So that's not. So as much as that's an AFC dynasty, they haven't gotten it all. I don't know. It's not the same as the Pats. When the Pats were doing it, I understood people hating that, but I appreciated the greatness of that.
They're feeling right there for me.
I just don't think they're. I don't think they're as great as that dynasty. So, So I'm not a hater for that.
Why? Because we're halfway through it.
Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
It's also hard to appreciate it when you're in the middle of it, right? That stat about 2 quarterbacks beating Mahomes in the playoffs, Brady and Burrow once, Brady twice, right? With the Patriots once, Buccaneers once, and then Burrow once. Mahomes has lost to 2 quarterbacks in his entire career in the playoffs. He's already won more playoff games than tons of quarterbacks. Dude's young. I mean,
28.
It's wild. Yeah. Wild what he's able to do already. And I want to hate him too. I was, when they beat the Bills, my hand was forced because there's no way in hell I can root for the Ravens. I wanted the Bills, but, dude, they're good. They're fun.
Why can't you root for the Ravens, by the way? Because they stole Cleveland's team?
No, I don't care about that. I actually think it's wild for how much I don't like Jim Harbaugh. I think John Harbaugh is the best coach in the NFL.
I think he's awesome.
He's my favorite coach by far. I wish the Browns had somebody like him or somebody like Tomlin. Side note, if you're listening to this and you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and you hate Tomlin, you're crazy. Come to Cleveland and deal with all the coaches we have. The Ravens have a culture, right? You always hear that in the football world. The Browns don't have a culture. I don't hate Stefanski. I like him.
So, again, why do you hate the Ravens? Because they have a culture of success?
No, because I have to be a Browns fan. And I have, man, welcome to the Billy Hope Therapy Podcast. I have this problem with the way they pile. When the Warriors were crushing people back in like the whole Cavs going to the finals and all that, when the Warriors would get up on people, they would turn into these like tough, like fake tough guys, right? It's easy to be tough when you have a 10, 15, 20-point lead. And that shit drives me nuts. And that's like what the Ravens do. They turn it on. That's why they're beating these teams by 30 points. And it frustrates me.
See, that's what the Chiefs feel like to me.
That I was just about.
Chiefs feel like the Warriors.
They grind it out.
I just wrote that.
What do you
down.
mean?
It says Warriors/Chiefs on his. He did just say that.
Which, by the way, I was watching Shaq, the TNT show, and Shaq doesn't take notes, and he realized that everyone else takes notes, and he got called out like, "Oh, that's why you guys are so good at it." So that's why I did that.
Jesus Christ! No, I don't think that the Chiefs do that at all because they don't blow teams out. They grind. The year they won their first championship, they were down 10 points to every single team they played. When Vrabel and the Titans were up on 10 on them, I can't think of it off the top of my head.
You said you don't work for ESPN. You got all these stats ready.
No, whatever.
But
But my point is they don't. They grind games out. They come back. That first year, for sure, Mahomes' first year that they won the Super Bowl, they came back every game from like 10 points down. That's not piling on. That's grinding out, figuring out a way to win. That shit's inspiring. But going up by 10 and then going up by 30 after that and flexing, not cool.
The hater thought of the Chiefs is similar to the Warriors. So in my eyes, I think both are homegrown, right? Like they didn't do anything besides when the Warriors got Kevin Durant or whatever. Everything else that both squads did was homegrown, and they were very, very successful for a long time. We hated each because we're Clevelanders and everything. But the what was that? Your microphone.
I was making sure we're on.
Oh, that
but
would be funny.
I don't know. I think there's similarities in
Can't waste my
fanhood,
passion.
I guess, when it comes to that. So you want to hate, but they didn't do anything wrong that you should hate them.
If you started Madden mode, right, where you get to be the GM or whatever, and you could grow your team like this, you're telling me you wouldn't want to do it like the Chiefs?
Oh, absolutely.
All of them. Every single person was drafted. Even
the
people they pick up suck. The people that they like trade for don't do anything for them.
I like more parity.
I don't disagree, but you know how hard that is to get in.
Well, we've had it. It's been more common in the NFL than other leagues.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that.
And just who we have, this one doesn't excite me the way others have excited me.
Well, we saw it 4 years ago, and that's probably why, right?
What do you mean?
Chiefs, Niners, like they just did this, right?
Yeah.
Like old news. Everybody was rooting for the Lions. I get that. We wanted the Bills to be here. Cleveland and Buffalo are forever going to be intertwined. I get, that part makes sense. But at the end of the day, like the way that the Chiefs are doing it, homegrown through the draft, it's hard not to like Andy Reid.
You're selling me.
I don't want the Chiefs to win. I don't. But I also don't want the 49ers to win. So, damned if I do. You know what? I'm just going to go for a nice walk on Sunday. I'm just not going to watch the game. Hopefully the sun's out. No. Chiefs by 10.
Chiefs by 10.
Woof.
So after all that, you're looking for a prediction. Chiefs by 3, and Mahomes has a lot of fantasy points for me. That's what it is.
I'm going
Not
Niners.
to Kelsey.
30-24.
30-20.
Niners
I actually
points.
do believe that. I do think it'll be a higher scoring game only because the Niners D is like what they've – by the way, maybe I do work for ESPN. The fact that Chase Young didn't do more for that defense kind of drives me nuts as a homegrown OSU and Ignatius guy. Like, he should – he's from Ignatius, right? I'm almost positive.
Chase Young? I don't know.
No.
All right.
Google.
Now, so just stick –
Edit.
No, you're not editing. Hey, Google, where did Chase Young go to high school? No.
What's Usher's first song going to be, more importantly?
Ugh. Crap halftime show.
That's terrible.
You think so? How can you say that?
They all suck. Last year was the best one they've had in a long, long time. Was it last year? Dre, Eminem,
No,
50?
that was Rihanna. Last year was Rihanna.
Really? I didn't even tune
She
in.
announced her pregnancy. I don't know why I know these
She
things.
did? Why do you know that?
Pop
Who
culture,
the hell
bud.
am I thinking of that went to Ignatius?
Charles Bentley. We already talked about him.
No,
This is obviously getting edited out. Right?
Let's
Jesus
move on.
Christ.
Holy moly. We're Googling.
So we need that guy in the booth that tells us if we're right or wrong real quick. Like
It's called a producer.
An editor. Producer.
okay.
There you go.
There's a fucking-
What if we put Magruder in that role?
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Hey,
He's
hopefully we get big
misguided.
enough where Magruder can like stumble through it.
Anyway, now I do have editing to do. Jesus.
Oh, you had it.
All right, quick recap. Round the horn. Hope, member
Yeah.
spotlight. What are we looking for? You got 1 minute to go.
Member Spotlight, we are looking for people who want to highlight their business and they want to let people know why they're involved in PGG. First one is going to be coming up here soon. I think that the whole goal with the Member Spotlight is to give yourself a little commercial that will be plugged on our social media, plugged in our newsletters to let people know what you wish you would tell them if you got them in person, right? If I meet somebody one-on-one and I'm going to tell them something about my business in a minute, you get to say that in your Member Spotlight, and then it's going to get blasted out to all of our followers and members and emails.
Boom. Adam.
Boom.
Big note.
Big note one, I'm excited about these two guys doing what they're doing as far as their spotlights and the podcast coming up. You're going to be hearing from me, obviously, about all the membership things that are going on, all the sponsorship things, but also the big events that are happening. Our spring networking night is going to be taking place in late March or early April. Date to be solidified. It will be back at West Bank Golf Club because our partners over there are going to have us there on probably a Wednesday or Thursday night. Going to have an awesome guest speaker. Count on that. We're going to have a great time. So, yeah, that's going to be the next main thing coming up. Be on the lookout for emails for a huddle. Also, just kind of a pop-up.
And golf outing on the website.
And golf outing coming
And
up on the
golf
website.
outing.
Yep.
Good? You're good? Podcast. Looking for podcast guests from, it doesn't matter, members, non-members. What I'm looking for personally is guys that are looking for a bit of the deep dive into your football experiences and how it translates to leadership, management, adult life, how it's helped you grow, how it's helped you reach people, and everything that it's done for you. That's what I'm looking for in the podcast. We're good?
Good.
I'm good.
Thanks, guys.
Go Chiefs.
Yo, thanks.